Hello, my little ponies, and welcome back to Magnolia. What's the full name of the game? I'm not sure. Eek. Summon Owl. Guys, the music and atmosphere of this game just amazing and incredible. Wait, there's nothing else down there that I could do, right? Return to the respite. Rest, real quick. And... no, there was an area I could do. Okay, I can... Okay, I wasn't done. So hello, my little ponies, and welcome back to the Magnolia Crescent of the Moon. I don't know if that's a name. I want to call it Bloomin' to you, but I don't think that's the subtitle of the game. And my mouse apparently isn't working right now, so I can't go and check it. How absolutely tragic. What thing is this? Oh. So, Metroidvanias tend to be a mix of two different things. Well, okay. 3 things. Fighting, puzzles, platformers. It seems like most Metroidvanias are a combination of those 3. And we can see this here, right? Like, there is some element of platforming. Because platforming is an easy way to make an obstacle that it might look like that the player has access to being able to solve it immediately, but they cannot. It's like, oh yes. Am I hearing voices? There are voices in my head. Oh yeah, before I started recording, I wanted to show you the some screenshots from our archipelago that we did together. What do you think? Yeah. And then right afterwards, oh yeah, you couldn't see my Discord for a minute. Sorry about that. Bloom in the Mist. That's what the game is called. Bloom in the Mist. And a Magnolia, Bloom in the Mist. I remember the bloom part. I forgot that there was mist in here. I'm not sure how I forgot about it. Oh my gosh, if I had gone like 12 steps further forward, there would have been another respite. Hello, stranger. Good to know. This looks like a boss fight area, no? The fumes have spared nothing. Let's go this way, find a... no? Okay. Thought there's gonna be a one-way door immediately, but... not immediately.
Oh, hey! Do you know it's Mewtwo's birthday?
Oh, right. Oh my gosh, that thing. It's like a tank. Alright, I can enhance abilities, except not the abilities I want to enhance. I can unlock this, but I don't really want it. I'm fine with this. Yeah, no, I don't want that. I like the AoE here. And equip for relics. What's this? I'm going to say no thank you for the time being. Oh, cool, you can put marks on the map. Okay, that is pretty darn cool. Yeah, I wanted to do some Enter Magnolia. So I figured, why not just record? That's usually the best way to get you to come about anyway. Well, now she's gone quiet, but, you know, it usually works.
Rar.
Hi.
Rar. What do I have going on here that...
Okay. I wonder if Ender Lilies is in the, archipelago. I don't think so. It has a randomizer. Sometimes I kind of wish that I had bothered to learn coding.
I mean, you still can.
Yeah. I mean, in all fairness, I have tried. It is... Am I just not supposed to be here yet? I feel like I'm just not supposed to be here yet. What's maximum level? 50? Uh-huh. Keep exploring. Ooh, new thing. Control over homunculi is said to be similar to the magic of another time. It was capable of manipulating the soul itself. The priestess of the ancient people who inhabited this land at one time is said to have taken control of souls in this way to grow her power. It seems this ancient sorcery can only be inherited through blood. It is desperately sought by the sorcerers of House Frost. So that's Lily from Ender Lilies. The abundance of magical resources excavated from the lower stratum yielded a bevy of anomalies, including but not limited to those that manifest the powers of heat and cold. Okay. Ever since, the Land of Fumes has produced a number of arcane instruments capable of commanding fire. Be warned, however, for these are not to be wielded lightly, particularly by homunculi. Survivor. Or dashing repeatedly. Okay. Wait, did it say Lily? Did it say our character is Lily? Shoot it! Kill it! Wow. I'm gonna have to check the difficulty. I feel like I might be playing on hard mode. Although I'm probably just playing on, like, normal. Weird. Anyway. Gosh, I still remember there was one game that came out, like... the demo came out, like, a year ago. That I thought was really cool and I wanted to play, and it's still not even out yet. It was supposed to come out, like, last year. What is this? This room definitely rings a bell. Anyway, let's go back to the fight. Let's go back to the fight. Do 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 do. At least we might or might not be collecting some small trace amounts.
So yeah, Ender Lilies is on AP. Like, it's obviously still in development and stuff, but they've been working on it for about, well, since 2023. It's still unclear to me if cross-game works. But at the very least, it can absolutely handle, like, 2 people playing Ender Lilies. Randomized together. So, and there's also a Discord, so I'm gonna,
join the Ender Lilies Discord?
I'm gonna send you the link to it, because I do not know the game, so.
I don't know that game much either.
What?
I mean, sure, I've played it, but I don't know where all the checks are.
So you do or do not want to do it randomized?
Nah.
Oh, so I didn't need to spend the last 10 minutes looking up the information for you?
No, I was just kind of idly curious.
Well then. Yes, the answer is yes.
Good.
Now maybe you can have something other than just Ocarina of Time.
Ocarina of Time. Yeah, well, when Dark Cloud 2 gets added to the Archipelago.
I thought we discussed that. I thought it is.
Not, like, fully. Like, this person who's been working on it, but... Like, it might be added, like, soon, but it's still... They're still working on it. And, like, you can play, like, a standalone randomizer of it, but that's not, like... really working so well, and even the person who's working on it says, yeah, just wait for the next version that will come out.
Alright.
What was famous for again? It was something useful. Oh. Ooh! A thing! I want the thing. my gun has more reach than your weapon. No, this will be fine. This will probably work out fine. Just have to jump up here, jump up here, jump up here. Fine, fine. It's another vine.
It's fine. We're fine. We're all fine.
No, no, no. Oh, that's just a box. To not be squashed by the elevator. I mean, this is so much more of just a slow, methodical game than I really wanted to give it credit for originally. Like, I am indeed a fan of, like, the faster-paced Metroidvanias. Like the Ori games, for example. Once you really get into it, you are just doing stuff, like, constantly. With this, it's more like, pause, wait, think about what you're doing next. Watch and wait for your next time to strike. Accidentally dashed there and it might have saved my life. Sure, run through the fire, everything is fine. Let's A-tune. Frost. You're a sight for sore eyes. Stay on your toes, the fumes. We can't help it. I've got nothing else to give, so please take this. Experimental amplifier. Right. There's only one more thing to do down here, and that is to keep going down. Oh, I see it. Extra materials. Rest well. Curious. Neither the body nor the mind can resist the blight. In time, it assails even the soul, and rot consumes the whole. The rot exhibits remarkable regenerative properties, granting undying flesh to the blighted. In the process, however, the mind is consumed by the blight's rage until only madness remains. Only the miracle of the priestess can bring salvation to the blighted. Grimoire. So if we go back now, we can craft something new. Oh, a carapace. What the fuck? The protective carapace gives no stats. Surely it does something, though, right? Aha! Right trigger to activate a berry that momentarily nullifies enemy attacks. Oh gosh, right trigger while moving to dash. Right trigger while not moving to barrier. I'm certainly not going to forget about that in the heat of the moment. I'm going to be hitting that button a whole bunch anyway. Oh. Yeah, just do that. Yeah, let's go over here. Just keep up the bird. So, you're familiar with Dwarf Fortress, right?
With which?
Dwarf Fortress?
I've heard of it.
So, I had this idea a while back that I thought could be rather interesting. Have, as part of a D&D campaign, the players go through, like, an abandoned dwarven stronghold, but have the stronghold be made from a Dwarf Fortress map.
I feel like you cut yourself off mid-sentence there.
Have them abandon and have them explore an abandoned dwarven fortress, stronghold, whatever, and have the map be made from Dwarf Fortress map.
I thought the whole thing with Dwarf Fortress is it's basically procedurally generated.
No.
Well, not procedurally generated,
kind of,
it's still like random.
Yes, it is random. Play through Dwarf Fortress until, you know, your dwarves either die or are about to die, whatever. Take screenshots of every layer of your fortress, how it wound up. Copy that to a D&D map. And then, like, when the players, like, find it, like, you know, you go in and it looks like, you know, abandoned kitchen just off of the dining room. It's like, especially if you just have the game running on pause there as well. It's like, oh yeah, you can see on the walls there's etchings of dwarves fighting monstrous toads, and because the game gives a lot of flavor. Requiring neither food nor water, homunculi instead find sustenance in magical energies. Through the preservation and replication of the soul, it has also become possible to create homunculi with regenerative abilities capable of withstanding the blight of the lower stratum. Before long, we shall be able to plummet Slow-Most depth, the land of fortunes within our reach. Is our character a homunculi? Is that part of the thing?
Oh.
I didn't think that their attacks would reach us through the ground, but apparently they do. What's down here? Oh look, there's a thing here. You activate one of these elevators that's just sitting on the ground. You suddenly start to go up. No, sorry. That was mean to say. I got distracted. What I meant to say was, you find an old abandoned elevator sitting on the ground. You go in and activate it. You sink further down into the ground. The way I said it was not funny. Like, there's these purple patches that seem like that they should be blight, but they don't do anything to us when we stand on them. Are we actually getting blighted and just can't feel it for whatever reason? Because we're a homunculus that can regenerate? We do have regenerative abilities. As limited as they are. Or unlimited if we count respites as just more of our regenerations. Giant Mimic! Reduces cooldown for abilities by 15%. its back, but we want to explore. We want to find. We want to see all there's to see down in these. Yeah. Right? Yeah? No. Oh. Was not actually expecting that. I will admit, I was not expecting this. I thought I saw something on the ceiling and I was all, aw, we're gonna have to come back later and get it. I saw some purple up there. I don't know what it is. Just swimming through such a wide open area like this. Wait. Yeah, you can see that there's a lot of water, but you can't see all of it. It just terrifies me. I don't know. Playing through the game and just like walking in an area, and it's like, yeah, no, you like I don't know what's up ahead. It doesn't scare me at all. But for some reason, swimming. There might be something up ahead in the water is absolutely terrifying.
Well, you know how spooky water is. I'll be honest, I kind of was reading some stuff and kind of only caught like the last bit of that, and you said about something being in the water was terrifying, so that's why my comment probably made no sense.
Okay, so when I'm playing like a game or something, and there's a part where you can swim, you go into the water and you cannot see the edges. It's just water everywhere around, and you just have to blindly go forward in the water. That's terrifying to me. And like, I'm not entirely sure why it is specifically terrifying for water, when it's like, if it's not water, it's completely fine. It's like, oh yeah, just going on land. There could be a big enemy up ahead. There probably is.
Well,
I'm fine with that.
I think a big part of it is just like, if you're so deep in water that you can't see the ends, this also means that if things go wrong, you don't have an escape route. At least if you're on land, you know what your escape route is? Turn around and go back the other way.
I mean,
but if you're underwater, you can't even be certain you are turned around completely if you try to turn around.
In a video game, you can be, though.
Well, yeah, in a video game, yes, but it's also probably a big factor that in so many games where, like, being in water and swimming isn't...
bad water!
Oh no, poison death water. Where swimming isn't, like, a main mechanic, but it is a mechanic and in sections of the game. Most game developers, for some reason, seem to go out of their way to make it, like, either intentionally scary or at least more difficult. Like, the first thing that comes to mind is, I think it was the first Ratchet & Clank game, where, like, the water section is just, like, it is just, well, it is unforgiving, because you have to get to the end of it while the water, you know, is rising, and thus, you know, cutting off any air pockets behind you, so you're losing your, you know, ability to backtrack. constantly, and you have to keep up. Or, like, even looking at, like, Super Mario 64, like...
Where it constantly
at the very
drains your
least,
health.
that's kind of more a symptom of Mario 64 in the first place, where... But in particular, the water levels, just how eerie they are, just because of how unpopulated they are.
Okay, when I was a kid and I first played Super Mario 64, I basically just refused to do any of the water levels. Like, I refused. The moat I could swim in just fine, but was it Dire Docks and Jolly Roger Bay? No, the first time we went into Dire Docks, I was like... I think I actually might have, like, turned off the N64 in response, because you just get dropped into the water, and it's just...
Yeah.
Okay, here you go, bronk, and it's like...
Well, yeah, I mean,
I don't know for certain if I had a panic attack, but it feels like I did.
You know, and that's the thing, it's understandable, and it's partly also because, and, you know, another sort of subtler thing is that the skybox in both of those levels, it's, like, overcast and cloudy. That's the worst time to be in a body of water, when it's a chance of a storm.
Yeah. Lord Motley, how long has it been since you went missing? Rumor has it that after Lord Kane's death, yours followed shortly after. Nonetheless, we reject Declan as our new lord and anxiously await word of your return. May this letter find you or someone that knows of your whereabouts.
That's interesting.
But yes, with Jolly Roger Bay, at least you spawn on the shore, so you don't have to run in, but Dire Docks, like, no, you're in the water.
And the only place where there's dry land requires you to swim down and through a tunnel. So an underwater tunnel.
I'm just thankful that I could rent the game from Blockbuster, so I didn't actually have to do Dire Docks. Because that's essentially the only... This is like the most actually required star of the entire game.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, the Bowser Sub-Stars, yeah.
Most required star. Even when speedruns got down to 1-star runs, that was the star.
Yeah.
If you're afraid of, like, any other level, other than, I suppose, Bowser stages, Dire Docks, and I guess technically Bomb on Battlefield, I think are the only levels where you actually have to go in to beat the game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like, assuming you're not... Well, no, you're right. Bomb on Battlefield, because you aren't supposed to be able to get in a star any other way, at least for the start. Dire Docks, because you have to get the first star, and then the Bowser levels to get the keys, get the other. Yeah. Everything else is, there's enough in the game that you don't have to do
any specific particular level that you don't want to.
Actually, here's a question. How did you feel about Wet Dry World?
I don't know, actually. I think I was fine with it, because you got to explore the level while it was dry and see what is there. And then you raise the water, it's like, okay, I know what's here. The thing about Dire Docks and
Jolly Roger Bay
is that it's so, like, natural water. Whereas, say, like, the moat, that's, like, artificial water. You can see, like, man-made walls and stuff all around it. It's like being in a pool. Wet Dry World, again, it's like being in a pool. You can see the place, and it's clearly, like, structurally made as opposed to appearing natural.
And how did you feel about the town section?
I don't think I actually got to the town when I was a kid.
Fair enough. Oh, and how did you feel about the fish tank? The aquarium level.
Oh, I don't think I actually wound up going in there. I don't think I found that as a kid.
Okay. So basically you weren't out finding secrets most of the time.
I did find the slide. I found the slide.
Yeah, that one makes sense to be able to find.
Yeah, although what was really funny was me finding the slide on the DS version, because that's like a whole room that actually does stuff. That's like where you swap characters and access like mini games and whatever. Like that room actually has other purpose. And I was just messing around in there, talking to myself, like, yeah, could you imagine I just play through this entire... Yeah, this is the sort of water that I was talking about.
Ooh, where it's just like...
Anything could be anywhere.
Yeah.
Was it? Right. So just messing around in that hallway room, like, oh yeah, could you imagine I played through this whole game and then I realized that you can actually go into this portrait all along? And like, go into a portrait and it's a level? It's like, okay, calm down.
It's,
I remember playing Ape Escape. How familiar are you with Ape Escape?
not even slightly.
Okay, okay.
Because the first thing that came to mind and I realized was actually Monkey Ball, so I know nothing about Ape Escape.
Okay. You get gadgets that let you do things. One of the gadgets you get relatively early on allows you to swim. It's like a little thing that your character holds onto, and you can, like, basically propel yourself forward. You can shoot out a net to catch monkeys. You can swim around in water. You can damage out to staggered enemies. Interesting. And for the most part, I was completely fine with that. Some of the water was like a pool, and some of it was like more natural looking. For the most part of the game, I was fine with it. However, there's one part later in the game, big old body of water. You can see it. You can see it's just water. Nothing else is in there. It's just water. You can see it all. But there's a hole in the wall, and the hole is lined with, quote unquote, lined with rocks. It's PS1, like, you know, gray circles.
Gotcha.
And I didn't want to go in there because I thought that on the other end there'd be one of the giant fish enemies. Oh yeah, speaking of which, Ape Escape has these giant, like, electrical enemies that in bodies of water, but the game tells you, hey, don't swim in the water, else this thing will zap you. Use the boats that we've provided to get through the water instead. Don't go in the water because this thing will zap you and, and, like, kill you. So, of course, I didn't go in the water while I saw those things. So I thought that there'd be one on the other side, and it would, like, zap and kill me if I went through. So I didn't want to go through. I was playing with a friend at the time, even though it's a single-player game. He didn't want to go through because he thought, like, the tunnel was... the rocks were teeth and it was going to chomp him. I was like, that's ridiculous. Swim through. And we argued about this for a while until eventually my mom came in the room and we got her to swim through the tunnel for us.
That does sound familiar.
There was no... yeah, the rocks didn't eat us. And there was no giant fish on the other side. In fact, it's the only way that you're supposed to be able to get to one of the monkeys in that level. We should do Ape Escape at some point. It's a nice game. I haven't done it for the channel yet because it's actually one of the few games I have beaten.
Ah.
It was a nice game. Like, as you go through the levels, you get tools. It had some slight Metroidvania-esque features to it, because, like, oh, there's, like, 8 monkeys in this level, but you only have to capture 5. But, like, 2 of them you cannot capture with your current equipment. So you have to come back later to get them. And that's as early as level 1. There's 4 monkeys, you have to capture 3, and the last one you cannot get. Even the speedrunners, even people doing 100% speedruns, have to come back to that level. And yeah. Although, I don't think that they're actually required for 100% completion. There are what's known as Spectre coins throughout the level, special coins that you can use to unlock minigames. And I think that you can miss a few of them in the game and still get 100%. So you don't actually have to get all of them. But there was one part that, I don't know, maybe kind of just broke my brain a little bit when I played through. Remember those electrical fish that I mentioned that electrocute, like, the water, so you have to use the boat? Okay. So there's a segment with one of those in, right? So you get this boat, but there's also, like, a couple dozen other enemies all over the place. So every so often you have to stop steering the boat, stand up, and start fighting enemies from a precariously small place. If you fall into the water, you could get hurt. If you don't defeat these enemies, you could get hurt. Very interesting part of the game. But in that same area, deep under the surface of the water, there's one of the Spectre coins. So if you want to get all of them, you have to go into that water that this fish is electrocuting. All thrown out, but I have lots of work. I'm happy. That was random, but okay. No, you don't. 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 Oh, come on! Yeah, I realize that we should probably be talking about this game, the one that I'm playing, but it's like, there isn't a lot to mention. There's water, it's kind of scary. The atmosphere is neat.
He's scary.
Am I enjoying myself while playing this? I mean, kind of. It's quite alright. Plus concerned with why my eye hurts right now.
Fire.
Yeah, it's like really, really tingly. Like pins and needles.
Ew. That sounds uncomfortable.
Yeah, it's been that way for a while now.
Ew.
And this weird feeling, specifically, only my right thigh gets it. My left thigh never does. It's just my right side that gets this weird, kind of cold, like, stinging feeling. Ape Escape for a co-op mod would be sweet. There's actually a part in the game where you get like an RC car, and you control the RC car using your right stick. There is one of the few PlayStation games that specifically required that you have analog sticks. Yeah, left stick controlled your character. I think the D-pad controlled the camera. I'm not sure. Maybe not. Probably not. A right stick controlled your tools, so instead of like hit button to swing weapon, it was move the stick to swing your weapon or activate it in those specific directions. So you can like spin your club around. And the X, circle, square, and triangle buttons you used to select your tools. Although the, like, help, assistance, whatever menu implied some weird potential plot relevance that never actually saw happening, And I was very confused by it. Because it's like, oh yes, the net is your most important tool because that's what you use for catching the monkeys. Make sure you don't, like, get rid of your net to replace with something else. And I assumed it meant, like, permanently get rid of your net. Like, that was going to be a feature that you could permanently get rid of tools for other things in that game. No, you can't. I think I played a lot when I was like 6, and I came back to it again when I was like 13 to just finish up the last few levels on my save and actually beat it. Yeah, beating that game was worth quite a bit of endorphins. So that was cool. That's actually part of why I want to play it again, just to get that rush of the victory. That victory was everything Pokemon Snap wished it could be. Because like, face it, like, the ending of Pokemon Snap is quite a bit of a letdown. You finally take a picture of Mew after all that time and all that work against Mew. And then it's just like, okay, you got it. Congratulations, you win.
Congratulations.
Basically.
You is
like,
winner.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I see what you mean.
Whereas the ending of Ape Escape actually gives, like, some celebration for winning.
And let's be honest here. What is the most likely? Quite frankly, given the game up to that point, what do you think is the most likely thing that audio line that you would hear upon finally getting your picture of Mew? You were close.
Oh gosh. You take a picture of Mew. But then, like, it comes to, like, develop the picture, whatever, with Oak, and it's actually just a picture of Mewtwo. It's like, oh, you're close! And it's like... Also, it's a huge disappointment that all of the Pokemon aren't actually in the game.
Yeah.
Don't enemies inflicted with status effects? Okay, I really feel like I'm not supposed to be here right now, but I made it here, and there's a respite place.
Okay, I was really worried that was going to turn out to be a fake one.
Oh, it's going to be like an actually... It is annoying at the time when that happens, but it's so awesome in retrospect. Like, oh, hey, look, a rest spot. And you get there, and then it's, like, actually a boss fight.
Yeah.
Doesn't one of the Banjo-Kazooie games do that? I feel like Banjo-Tooie does
that. No. No, it doesn't happen in Banjo-Tooie, I don't think. I know it happened... Oh, what is it here?
Like, you go to get a Jiggy, and then... Because I know that... Yeah, you go to get a Jiggy, and it's actually a boss fight. Happens in Banjo-Tooie, specifically underwater, where it's actually the lure of an anglerfish.
Technically, the way you're... Now that you... As soon as you say for collecting a Jiggy, technically that's, like, multiple times. The very first boss, Target Zan, in Target Zan's Temple... First of all, it sets you up for thinking that you're gonna be able to just get it for free. Because first, after collecting half of the tokens or whatever that are in the Target Zan's Temple, you basically go into a room and it's just like the slightly sacred chamber. And there's just a Jiggy just sitting there. And you collect all of the tokens, and it opens up the really sacred chamber, and it looks the same. You go in, and I think Kazooie even says, wow, this is really turning out to be really easy. And then, no, it turns out it's a boss fight. And then the one you're thinking of, I believe, is in Jolly Roger's Lagoon, deep underwater, and yes, it looks like there's just a Jiggy there, and that turns out to be Lord Wu Fak Fak.
I just
the
remember being
anglerfish.
young, very young. I think this was before I had my fear of being underwater. That boss fight might have given me the fear, in fact. Just rented a copy of Banjo-Tooie, play on someone else's save, swimming around, do-do-do-do-do-do-do, and then just, oh, look, a Jiggy. It's like, just the combination of, like, I don't know how to properly fight in this game in general, because I'm playing on someone else's save. I don't know how to use stuff while underwater. I'm running out of air. It's hurting me for a lot. And
Okay, I will say you shouldn't have been running out of air, because in that level, basically to get down that far enough, I mean, unless you're somehow really, really good at the game, you need to do a thing that basically makes all the water, like, be oxygenated. However, the thing about that fight in particular that is really annoying is that, in the game, in that level, there is a transformation into a, missile-launching sub. Which I think is what you're intended to do that fight as, because I don't recall you might be invulnerable to damage, and also it's a lot easier to aim your, missiles to hit the weak spots.
Yeah, I was not as the sub. I was bad.
Yeah, but the fact that you can accidentally just go in as yourself is just like, oh, that is just rude.
Yeah, so, and again, I was like 6 at the time. I thought I was running out of air.
Yeah.
Because I also remembered, like, I remember this actually quite well, even though it's surely wrong. Basically, walk down what's like a short alleyway between two buildings. There's like an open, like, sewer line with a little bit of water. I don't know if you can swim through that little bit of water coming out of the sewer line in almost like a trough kind of thing. So you can jump into the trough, go into the open sewer, and then immediately go big wide open area, no source of light other than the Jiggy that's in front of you. Go towards the Jiggy, and then suddenly anglerfish. That, I don't know, can you fight that boss while you're in Banjo mode, or do you have to be as the sub?
No, that's the thing. You can fight it in Banjo mode, and you can win. It's just harder.
So, I've seen people playing Banjo-Tooie. I have no recollection of ever seeing anybody else actually do that fight. I don't know if I just happened to not be paying attention during that fight, or if I legitimately have blocked it out. For every time I've seen, like, someone do it, I just immediately forget about it. But I don't think I have no memory of ever actually seeing someone do that fight.
Huh. Interesting.
And, like, I've seen people play through the game. Like, I've seen Let's Plays of it and speedruns of it and stuff. I have no memory of ever seeing someone actually do that fight. Maybe it's just so different from how I remember it being that it doesn't register as the same.
Maybe.
Because I remember it being absolutely terrifying.
It might just be that it just doesn't seem as scary anymore.
Well, it doesn't seem as scary if I'm watching someone else do it as opposed to if I was playing it myself.
True.
Regardless, though, this has been the end. This has been End of Magnolia. Was it Bloom in the Mist? Bloom into the Mist. I hope that you've enjoyed it and that we haven't given you much Hydrophobia. I've actually played a game called Hydrophobia. I want to play it again. That game was interesting. Hope that we haven't triggered any Hydrophobia out there. Now, everybody, remember, eat your veggies, get plenty of sunshine, drink your water,